80 years since the end of the Second World War, the King, following in the footsteps of his grandfather, King George VI, has led the efforts to thank that courageous generation. The end of the war in the Far East, often seen by some as overlooked, the monarch this time making sure that isn't the case, by recording his own tribute for VJ Day and appearing to allude to more current conflicts.
Those heroes of VJ Day gave us more than freedom. They left us the example of how it can and must be protected. Countries and communities that had never before fought together learned to coordinate their efforts across vast distances, faiths, and cultural divides. Together they proved that in times of war and in times of peace, the greatest weapons of all are not the arms you bear, but the arms you link. That remains a vital lesson for our times. We recall, too, the prisoners of war who endured years of brutal captivity, the starvation, disease, and cruelty that tested the very limits of human endurance.
That was the sergeant's mess.
After victory in Europe back in May 1945, for 3 more months, the likes of Don Poole, now 101, was still on a war footing. Based in India as an ammunition expert, receiving danger money of an extra shilling a day as he went to deal with explosives. He remembers clearly when the Japanese surrendered.
We were quite jubilant at the time, and we had this battered old piano in the mess, and it started off singing patriotic songs, such as Land of Hope and Glory, and of course God Save the King and that sort of thing. And then after 1 or 2 beers, it got rather, shall we say, homesick, or the fellas did. That beer that we were drinking, it was Assam Brewery Gold Ribbon Lager. I'll always remember its name because it was perhaps a contender for the world's worst beer, and that's all we had to drink, and that's how we celebrated. But we did celebrate, and we felt, right, the war's over now. We are forgotten, yeah, we were 10,000 miles away from wherever, and but that feeling soon went. Actually, the lads were glad to get home.
Like the King, he believes we can still learn from what they lived through.
You see life at its worst. You see dead bodies, you see destruction, you see everything appertaining to war, and it's dreadful. And it gives you the thought, we don't want any more of that.
The King's message echoes his words to mark VE Day, a man ever conscious of current world events, meeting recently with President Zelensky and thanking charity workers for their efforts in the Middle East. Last night, the Commonwealth Memorial gates in London were lit up to begin these commemorations. Part of a deep promise that we won't forget, a sentiment that will be carried by the King and Queen as they attend a service at the National Memorial Arboretum in Staffordshire. The monarch once again delivering a message of gratitude as we gradually lose those who really know the sacrifices it took to stop war from reaching our shores. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News.